the Tinderbox. A soldier went marching by along the road. Left, right, left, right. He had his knapsack on his back and a saber at his side, for he was coming home from the war. On the high road he met an old witch. She was very repulsive to look at. Her upper lip hung down over her chin.
"Good evening, soldier," she said. "What a fine saber you have got, and what a large knapsack. You are something like a soldier, and you shall have as much money as you like."
"Thank you, old witch," said the soldier.
"Do you see that tall tree yonder?" said the witch. "It is hollow inside. Climb up to the top and you will see a hole through which you can let yourself down into the tree. I will tie a rope around you so I can pull you up when you call to me."
"What am I to do when I'm down in the tree?" the soldier asked.
"Fetch up money," said the witch. "Below the roots of the tree you will find a large hall, lighted up with more than 300 lamps. Then you will see 3 doors. Open them all. The key is in each lock. In the first room you will see a large chest in the middle of the floor, and on the chest a dog with eyes as big as saucers. Don't mind him in the least. Here is my blue checked apron. Spread that out on the floor and put the dog upon it. Then open the chest and take out as much copper as you like. If you prefer silver, you must go into the next room. But there is a dog with eyes as big as mill wheels. You need not fear him, however. Put him on my apron and take out the money. If you want gold, you can have it, as much as ever you can carry, by going into the third room. But the dog on the chest of gold has eyes as big as steeples. He is a savage brute. You may take my word for it. Never fear him, however. Put him on my apron. He won't hurt you, and you can take as much gold as you will."
"That doesn't sound amiss," said the soldier. "But what am I to give you for it, old witch? For I don't suppose you mean to do it for nothing."
"I do," said the witch. "I won't take a penny. All I ask is that you shall bring me up an old tinderbox that my grandmother left the last time she was there."
"Well then," said the soldier, "tie the rope around my waist."
"Here it is," said the witch. "And here is my blue checked apron."
The soldier climbed up the tree, let himself down, and stood as the witch had said in a great hall where hundreds of lamps were burning. He opened the first door. Oh, there sat the dog with eyes as big as saucers, glaring at him. "You're a nice fellow," said the soldier, lifting him onto the witch's apron. Then he filled his pockets with copper, shut the chest, and went into the next room. Right enough, there sat the dog with eyes as big as mill wheels. "You had better not stare so," said the soldier. "Your eyes might come out of your head altogether." He lifted the dog onto the witch's apron, and at the sight of all the silver in the chest, he emptied his pockets again and filled them and his knapsack too with silver. Then he went into the third room. That really was awful. The dog had eyes every inch as big as towers, and they turned round and round at his head like wheels. "Good morning," said the soldier, touching his cap, for he had never seen such a dog in his life. But after looking at him more closely, he thought he had been civil enough, so he placed him on the floor and opened the chest. Good gracious, what a quantity of gold there was! Enough to buy all the sugar sticks of the sweet-stuff women, all the tin soldiers, whips, and rocking horses in the world, or even the whole town itself. There was indeed an immense quantity. So the soldier now threw away all the silver money he had taken and filled his pockets and his knapsack with gold instead. And not only his pockets and his knapsack, but even his cap and his boots so that he could scarcely walk. He was really rich now, so he replaced the dog on the chest, closed the door, and called up through the tree, "Now pull me out, you old witch!"
Have you got the tinderbox?
asked the witch.
"No, I declare I quite forgot it."
So he went back and fetched the tinderbox, and then the witch drew him up out of the tree. He stood again in the high road with his pockets, his knapsack, his cap, and his boots full of gold.
"What are you going to do with the tinderbox?"
asked the soldier.
That's no business of yours, said the witch. Give me the box.
"What's that you say?"
cried the soldier.
"Tell me this very minute what you want it for, or I'll draw my sword and cut off your head."
I won't,
said the witch. The soldier immediately cut off her head, and there she lay. He tied up all his money in her apron, slung it like a bundle over his shoulder, put the tinderbox in his pocket, and walked on towards the town. It was a splendid town. The soldier went into one of the best hotels, engaged the largest room, and ordered everything he liked best for supper. He was rich now because he had so much money. The man who blacked his boots thought it was strange that such a rich gentleman should wear such very old boots. But the next day the soldier bought new ones and a new suit of clothes. He was not a soldier now, but a fine gentleman. And the people spoke to him of all the remarkable things in the town, of the king and the beautiful young princess, his daughter.
"Where can one see her?"
asked the soldier. "You cannot see her," was the reply. "She lives in a large brazen castle, surrounded by walls and turrets. No one but the king may enter, because it was once prophesied that she would marry a common soldier."
"I should like to look at her,"
said the soldier, but it was quite impossible for him to obtain permission. From this time he lived a merry life, going to theaters and driving about in royal parks and gardens. He gave away a great deal to the poor, and that was right of him. He knew of old what it is not to have a shilling in one's pocket. Now he was rich, wore fine clothes, and had numbers of friends who all said he was an excellent fellow and a perfect gentleman. The soldier was pleased at that, but unluckily, as he went on spending money every day and never earning any more, he found himself at last with scarcely any left, and was obliged to leave his beautiful rooms for a little garret under the roof, where he had to black his own boots and mend them with a packing needle. None of his friends came to see him now. There were too many steps to climb. It was a dark night, and he could not even buy himself a candle. But it suddenly occurred to him that there was a piece of candle left in the tinderbox, which he had fetched up for the old witch out of the hollow tree. He struck a light, and the moment it flashed up, the door opened, and in came the dog with eyes as big as saucers. "What does my lord require?" said the dog.
"What is this?"
said the soldier.
"This is a lively sort of tinderbox, if I can get whatever I like out of it. Get me some money,"
he said to the dog, and whoosh, off he was. Whoosh, there he was back again, with a bag full of copper in his mouth. Then the soldier began to see what a famous box it was. You struck it once, and up came the dog with eyes as big as saucers. You struck it twice, and up came the one that sat on the chest of silver. 3 times, and up came the one that kept guard over the gold. The soldier went downstairs again into his beautiful rooms and bought some more fine clothes. Then all his friends knew him again directly and thought a great deal of him. After a while he began to think it was very strange that no one could get a look at the princess.
"Everyone says she is very beautiful," he thought to himself. "But what is the use of that if she is to be shut up in a copper castle surrounded by so many towers? Can I by any means get to see her? Stop! Where is my tinderbox?"
Then he struck a light, and in a moment the dog with eyes as big as teacups stood before him.
"It is midnight," said the soldier, "yet I should very much like to see the princess, if only for one moment."
The dog disappeared instantly, and before the soldier could even look round, he returned with the princess. She was lying on the dog's back asleep, and looked so lovely that everyone who saw her would know that she was a real princess. The soldier could not help kissing her, true soldier as he was. Then the dog ran back with the princess. But in the morning, while at breakfast with the king and queen, she told them what a singular dream she had had during the night, of a dog and a soldier, and she had ridden on the dog's back and had been kissed by the soldier.
That is a very pretty story indeed,
said the queen. So the next night, one of the old ladies of the court was set to watch by the princess's bed to discover whether it really was a dream. The soldier longed very much to see the princess once more, so he sent for the dog again in the night to fetch her. But the old lady put on water boots and ran after him and found that he carried the princess into a large house. She thought it would help her to remember the place if she made a large cross on the door with a piece of chalk. Then she went home to bed, and the dog returned with the princess. But when he saw that a cross had been made on the door of the house where the soldier lived, he took another piece of chalk and made crosses on all the doors of the town. Early the next morning, the king and queen accompanied the old lady and all the officers of the household to see where the princess had been.
"Here it is,"
said the king when they came to the first door with a cross on it. "And here was one, and there was another," they all exclaimed. So they felt it would be useless to search any farther. But the queen was a very clever woman. She could do a great deal more than merely ride in a carriage. She took her large gold scissors, cut a piece of silk into squares, and made a neat little bag. This bag she filled with flour and tied it round the princess's neck, and then she cut a small hole in the bag so that the flour might be scattered on the ground as the princess went along. During the night, the dog came again and carried the princess on his back and ran with her to the soldier, who loved her very much. The dog never noticed the flour as it fell all along the road from the castle to the soldier's room. The next morning, the king and queen saw clearly where their daughter had been, and the soldier was immediately arrested and put in prison. There he had to stop. It was dull and gloomy enough, and all they said to him was, "You will be hanged tomorrow." That was not exactly cheering, and his tinderbox was left behind in his lodgings. The next morning, through the bars of his window, he saw a shoemaker's lad in his apron and slippers, who was running so fast that one of his slippers fell off and flew right up against the window. "Hello, my lad!" cried the soldier. "Just run to my lodgings and fetch me my tinderbox. You shall have a shilling for your trouble." The lad thought he should like to earn the shilling, so he fetched the tinderbox, gave it to the soldier, and, well, now we shall hear. The gallows was set up outside the town, and round it stood the soldiers and thousands of people. The king and queen sat on a splendid throne opposite the judges and council. The soldier mounted the ladder. The rope was placed round his neck, when he begged permission to smoke a pipe of tobacco. The king granted his wish, and the soldier struck his box. Once, twice, thrice. In a moment, up sprang the 3 dogs. "Help me, so that I shall not be hanged," said the soldier, and the dogs flew at the judges and the council. That frightened the people to such a degree that they cried out, "Noble soldier, you shall be our king and marry the princess."
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe for more videos. Press the bell icon and select all to get notifications.
I hope this lesson has been both informative and enjoyable, enhancing your English skills. Remember to practice these new words and phrases, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more lessons. Until next time, keep learning and stay curious.